and we're going to try and use that one instead, that extension. So let me try to find that heavy duty wire for the purpose of testing this out. We're going to replace this old beat up orange one. Okay, I couldn't find a thicker wire, so I used my light bulb cord here, which is a little bit more direct, and this is kind of a brittle wire. You gotta be careful. Sometimes it's just not producing enough voltage coming out of it. So we got this hooked onto it. So this is it. You can tell the line works because the light works. Okay, so we're not caring about the light right now. Just want to go ahead and turn this on, and we're gonna see. We're gonna make this voltage here, and we're gonna go ahead and put it for 40 amps. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it on, and we're gonna measure the voltage again. Okay, so let's go and bring back our leads. Leads are everywhere here. Okay, hook up the negative back to this one. Hook up. This one's a positive, so and try hook it up to the battery again. Okay, we got a good contact there. Negative one, we gotta get the contact to that one. Okay, let's see what it reads now. Okay, it's still the same, about 1.58687 volts. So it's not enough really to crank the scooter over. Again, it's a bad battery is initiating this, or else we would need a generator. Or it also could be a weak starter motor too. See, the starter motor, when they measure in torque, why these high performance starter motor will probably work best, the Banjing one, is because they can tolerate a lot more electricity going to it, which spins this a little bit more rapidly than if you have a stock one. Now, the Shin Yea one, this actual required, most typical starter only requires about 7 to 8 amps. Remember again, amps is the volume of currency going through it, but the volts are still the same, 12 volts. This is still 12 volts needed, but it does require a 9 amp. So this dead battery here, even with the charger connected to it, won't even produce enough to actually power this, because the battery itself is only about 8 amp. It comes with a back plate. Look how neat that is. It goes this way right here. So it secures with back brace, and also has a strap. Is that cool? Take out the strap here. Now this thing again weighs a little bit more than the Banjing, not including its back plate. It's just the starter motor itself. It's kind of a little well built. It comes in a nice little packaging here, where actually you can hold it and hang it. It doesn't come with your typical you know, starter motor package like the Banjing one. But Banjing does give you a wire harness. Here, I'll measure the weight for you so you can actually see it. Let's go here. You got the comparison between the Banjing one and the Shin Yea. Shin Yea or Shin Yea. Okay, we're gonna make sure this is zeroed out. Calibrate it. Okay, so here we go. This is the Banjing one sitting up, and it's a little bit over, just about 2 pounds, seems like. That's not including his wire harness or anything. And then we have the Shin Yea. Make sure it's still zero there before I put it on. Okay, so they're about almost the same, about 2 pounds. So there it goes. I thought I weighed a little bit more on the scale, but I guess that's with the back plate and everything like that. Put the back plate in there, just a little bit over, about 2 pounds, 14 ounces just by itself. And the Banjing one is about the same, about 2 pounds. So, but this is more of a extreme high torque, they say. It's supposed to be able to crank a high compression engine easily, because of the fact it can actually spin. See, the thing is, the motor will spin. If it spins too slowly, it's never going to crank the engine over. So that's why a lot of people, when they kickstart stuff, they're aiming to kickstart it really fast to get that high torque in there. And with a stock scooter, actually it gives us enough light here to power our LED, which LED takes a very little. We're going to change pretty much these bulbs to LED also. So I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, this is the starter motor here. So how we remove the starter motor is we're going to remove it off, and we're going to probably put the Shin Yea on there. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and record it. Here we go. We're going to go and put the starter motor in here. We're going to take an 8mm socket, and we're going to remove the starter motor. We're going to close the engine here, so it'll be much easier. Oh, here we go. Gonna put the 8mm socket. Okay, so we're gonna make sure the engine's closed. We're gonna take our battery here. We're gonna probably jump start instead. So we're gonna take this off. Okay, we're gonna turn it off. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off our starter motor here. And we're gonna try to jump to the Shin Yea one and see how that actually puts in. So here we go. Just 8mm here. Make sure you have the ground level there. Okay. So here we go. All right, so let me go and get that sorted in. Okay, we're gonna take out the bolts. You can see the ground wire we have here, which is great. And then also we have to take a Phillips there and remove that from the holder there. Sorry, cracked open. Do it by hand. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna pop it out, and then we're gonna be able to see. There we go. So we gotta take a Phillips here. Get our Phillips, and we're gonna go and remove this right here. Now again, we're gonna probably use our jump starter one on this battery because that gives us at least a better opportunity than even the high tower charger there. That looks like it's a sort of like a charger, only not too much of a jump start, because most of the time it's just a generator. So, but we're gonna put our Shin Yea battery in shortly. Let's see here. Get this off. It's kind of loose from the bottom. Okay, so that's off there. And that's how pretty much you take off your starter motor. Just 3 bolts for the stock one here. And if you want to see actually how a starter motor, I'm going to put like 12 bolts in here, and you can see it spin. Okay, so what you do is you just hook the positive to it. Positive's right there. You see the positive there, and then you hook a negative to it. Anywhere on the body it's negative. You can even do that side or that side, doesn't really matter. Then we're gonna go and plug this in. We'll set it for 6 amps. So let's go and bring the wires. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get. There we go. All right, let me take this off. Not too much slack yet. Okay, we got wires everywhere. Okay, but anyway, the positive there and negatives there. So we're gonna plug in. You can see the starter motor spin. This doesn't have a switch, so I have to. See that? You can hear it humming, but it's still not cranking enough. See that? There we go. See that? It was grounding itself, that's why. Sorry about that. It's gonna be harder now because there's a magnet there. There we go. See that spin right there? That's what it needs. It needs 12 volts directly to it to be able to spin like that. So now we're gonna install the Shin Yea one, and we're gonna try to actually use this one because this one guarantees us a little bit more. So we're gonna go and keep this charged right now. So we'll plug this here while we're installing our Shin Yea one. Okay, so we're gonna go and leave this in the off position because we don't want to drain any more power to it. And we're gonna actually let it charge. Okay, so there we go. We still have that charge and ready. Good. So now it's charging. We'll leave this one alone charging. This one's disconnected. We tried to use the tower generator one. It's gonna be no difference than using this small one here. So now all it comes down to is trying to jump start it with the Shin Yea one. And this is where loop applies. if you have assembly lube to help it lubricate the tips, so you won't get any kind of wear on the gears on the splines. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and lube it, apply some of this engine assembly lube onto the sheet. But first we do that, let's go and mount it on there. Then open it up. Comes in a really nice package. This is really thick plastic, you know, ripped on the side. It's nice how they have it all set up. It comes with some Allen bolts too to screw it in. So we'll make sure we get some Allen bolts. Make sure we get some Allen screws in there. So let me go and get some Allen screws. And let's see which one size it takes. Pretty small. Alright, let's see if we have a small one laying around. These seem to be pretty standard size. A little bigger than what we need. This might do the trick. There we go. Alright. Okay, so this is pretty much how it's going to be installed. We're going for, this thing is facing up, right? If this thing is facing up, then this back plate is going to go resting. Look at that, you can see that, it even embroidery, well, I'm not sure what you call it, engrave. Everything just fits perfectly in there. Look at that, no mishaps. So it's very made for secure. Again, this does require a 9 amp battery, but we're going to test it out on 8 amp battery that's almost completely dead. As you can see there, there's only like, what by itself is 2. Oh, this is too big to it, so I'll have to go find a smaller Allen socket here. Let me see if I have one in the dresser drawer. All right, we found an Allen that actually fits it, so we're gonna go and bolt it in now. See there, nice engraved. See the front, beautiful. Most of the time, again, these starter motor will go out between 3 to 5 years, just like your battery, because the oil actually, it funnels into here. It doesn't have it has an internal sealed as well. It's nothing but a bunch of coil, and there's a magnet that pretty much makes contact with this, so it usually wears out the internal seal there that prevents oil from going into the coil. Once it goes in the coil, you know, it causes some serious damage, so that's why usually they fail. And you can actually take them off. You could screw this right here, and you might probably pop, I believe it's halfway here. Yeah, I can feel like there's a little cut mark here, so it might come out this way. Some of them just comes out right here, like the stock one. Comes out the same way. This whole section right here comes out. So it actually does come out pretty much right there. You just take the screws out here and you can pop it out, and you can inspect the internal contacts. There's 2 contacts that grips them together like this inside that makes contact with the splines, and then a bunch of conducting copper wires that makes up your starter motor. Okay, so we're gonna install the Shin Yea here. Again, we're gonna make sure this stays on top, and then this little down part goes in the bottom, just like that. A little bit upside down. Sorry, it's like this. There we go. That way, and this one goes just like your traditional starter motor right there. It needs to make room just like the same. So this can't actually stay in there, so it has to be that way. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and screw this in. This locks our back plate here. Looks pretty simple enough. There we go. Give it a good tight. There we go. Take the other one as well. Okay, so there we go. Pretty tight. Alright, pretty tight there. Want to make sure I'm more tighter. There we go. Alright, so there we go. We got that in there now. It's time to go ahead and put back our screws and bolt it on. And we're going to put some Moly grease in there, assembly lube. There we go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put some assembly lube in there. Get it all nice and lubed up. Ready for insertion. Okay, you just put a little bit in the splines there. Try to get, you can get all around like a circle pattern. It'll spread itself when you push it in there. or if you want to help it, you can. You can put some here too, where the rubber seals are. Gives it nice there. That way it goes in smoothly. Then this is assembly lube. You can always wipe it off if you have too much excessive. The oil usually just burns it off. Okay, so there we go. This will help you also not just insert it in there, but to put it in there. Okay, we still have our positive there. The first thing we can do is actually mount our positive wire first. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me see if I can go ahead and do that. Have the camera here. Let me put our Shin Yea charger away. Let me go and try and mount this here. You can see it also. Okay, there we go. Okay, what I'm gonna do is tie the positive wire, make sure that our kill switch and everything is off. Okay, so we're gonna go in. It usually takes a thicker wire too, but we'll do what we have here. It's going for a 9 amp. So you can see here, I'm trying to join these two together. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. Get a hold of it. There we go. It has a washer too. All right, there we go. That's probably the hardest part right here, just getting that Phillips in there at this angle. I'm gonna come from the back. See me screw it in. See that washer there? Prevents it from just popping itself or vibrating out because it will spin. Okay. All right, we're gonna go and pop it in. You can see here there's splines in there. These splines are right there. They're gonna meet up with this spline. So if it doesn't go in directly, you just have to wiggle it in and it'll eventually go in. Let me go and put this back here so you can see me wiggle it in. Okay. Bring a little bit chair here. Get comfy doing this. Okay, so now I'm ready. A little bit more leg there. My leg was burning there. All right, so we'll route this here. Should fit just like your stock one. We got some assembly lube in there now. See that? It doesn't want to just go in. So just gonna wiggle it in. Eventually you'll see it start popping in. There we go. And then this needs to flush right here. It's not flush yet. There we go. Now it's flush. And there we go. Now we got ourselves the Shin Yea high torque starter mode. Wow, the ground wire is almost really the wire harness. There we go. Okay, so ground wire usually go inside, but let me just go and put it in the outside for right now. Okay. We're gonna grab our socket here, put our 8mm starter motor bolts in. One side, we'll capture it with the ground wire. So that's how much you need to take the starter motor out. It's very simple to change. You can see here, just tap the wire harness. If it does have one big huge positive thick ground wire and you don't have a wire harness, you can take it directly to the solenoid. That positive right here, it just goes directly to the solenoid anyway. But ours is going through a wire harness. All right, seems like the hole's not lined yet. Interesting. There we go. Got to line the holes too. You have to lift it up a little bit. Just gonna hand tighten this first until you can't hand tighten anymore. Seems like it's gonna need the tool afterwards. We'll put the other side too. Make sure it's balanced. There we go. This one looks like it's going in all the way, no problem. Then we'll get the tool and we'll tighten it down. We'll try to jump start it and see if this Shin Yea actually can do it even with a poor battery. Don't blame it though, because normally it requires a 9 amp battery, and this stock one, it's mostly as a dead battery, plus it's not even 9 amp. It's gonna produce the most 8 amp. There we go. I think I kind of got it to his thread, and I can actually do a little bit more by hand before it gets too tight. Sometimes just faster just to twist the ratchet with your hand. All right. Yeah, this Shin Yea is mainly for like anything from 180 and up, or with high compression, 232 especially. They need this starter motor in there. So that's what we called for. But again, it takes a good 9 amp battery, but we're going to try to do it with our low battery here, because we don't want to crank and keep cranking and bringing our Shin Yea down, because it might not charge again to full 12 or 13 plus volts, because of the fact it might kill a cell or two. So we don't want to ruin it. So we're going to test with what we have. Make sure it's tight. Again, this is aluminum, so don't over tighten it though. You can put blue Loctite afterwards, and you can just want to do it enough where it doesn't forcefully, because it's aluminum. Okay, so that's it. We got our starter motor in there. It looks beautiful. It's grounded right there, hooked up to the positive. We're not going to put the rubber boot, because again, this is a temporarily. Just want to make sure we have a good crank first before we tie everything nice and tidy. So now we're going to get ready to put that juice on there. Seems like the jump starter, the only one we really have is this red one right here. So I think it's still charging, or somewhat. Oh, it actually fell off. So anyway, when it was charging, it would look like this. Let me put it back in. It's charging, it looks like that. But we can check out the voltage of it right now, see what it has. So again, take our voltmeter. Try to take the one with the alligator clips. Take this off, this one. Okay, doesn't really matter, you put negative or positive in this one, it'll just give you a negative reading. It's not going to explode or anything. Let's see. All right now it's not turned on, that's why it's like that. But once we turn it on, there we go. See, 12.5 volts. That's enough there to hopefully jumpstart our battery, but mainly have the Shin Yea starter motor, super high torque there, do his magic. So we're gonna go and take this off this charger. Actually, see if we can just carry it over like that. I'll have this off. Again, where's my cloth there? So I'm gonna take my cloth back out. There we go. Don't want to ruin my nice plastic covering. Or dielectric grease. All right, we don't have to have it on charge anymore, because the charger only works when we actually turn the jump start off. So it also has an air compressor too, if you're ever flat on the road and if your tires, you know, inflatable. Okay, so gonna get ready here. We'll bring our meter back shortly. Okay, sure it's a nice good contact there. Nice good contact here. We're going to measure the voltage output from our relay. Put the negative here. We're going to put the negative here on the battery terminal, and we're going to put the positive here. So let's see. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll put it where the cranking is. We want to see how much it's bringing to the actual starter motor. Get the alligator clip ready. Okay, this one still took to positive, great. All right. Put to the battery, really. So if I can get a wire back there, yeah, I can. A little thin wire. Okay. And then this one, we're gonna go and put it to where actually it will start firing. So we're gonna turn it on. Also forgot, we have to turn on our fuel too. Our fuel is pretty much full, so I'm not too worried that it's not bringing fuel. But you can see here, it's sucking in some fuel. So we're gonna turn it back on. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Do a little squeeze, you can see the bubbles coming. Also comes the other way too, because we have it open now. Awesome. So the fuel is on. Our Shin Yea is starting. Our booster is on, turn on. Light's not on yet because the ignition is not on. Our kill switch is off, I believe. Yeah, it's off, good. Okay, we're gonna turn ignition on, straight up. There we go, juice on the signal. We'll turn off the juice thing. We'll turn this off. All right. Turn on the kill switch. It's actually always on. I'll keep forgetting. Okay, hold down the lever. Brakes is on. That means our light's good. Oh, our spark plug's not even in there. So let's go ahead and turn our spark plug. Actually, you know what? Let's test it out and make sure. Let's see how the spark looks. So here we go. We're gonna do the spark plug test again. Okay, you're gonna see how powerful the Shin Yea is a little bit. Okay, there we go. Let's see if there's spark. There's actually spark. You see spark? Wait. Let me go and get a resolution there. There's spark. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and put on our spark plug. Take this back off. Keep this in charge mode. We turn it off. Make sure this battery plug. Let's put our spark plug in first. So many things to look out for. Okay, let's go and put back our spark plug. Yeah, you can see it much better here at this angle. All right, so ignition's turned off, kill switch is turned off. Now it is. I always forget that one. Okay. Again, you can put some dielectric grease here on the tip, so I'm going to do that right now for you. I'm going to show you where to put the dielectric grease. It's going to get a little bit messy now because we're going to turn it. You can put it afterwards if you want to, or if you have a socket that you're going to use over it, it should be okay. So there we go. You want to keep this clean of any debris, oil. So make sure you wipe that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put some dielectric grease here on the tip, because this is where it's going to make contact into our wires, and we want to make sure it doesn't ever get fumes or rusty. Okay, and we're going to take our socket here. We're going to hand tighten it first. You can see that. I'll come from underneath. Much easier, I guess. Or maybe here. You see me sort in there. I can see the hole. It's going in. Angle it. Okay, you want to make sure you don't want to cross thread it, meaning going from a different angle. You want to see that it's going in perfectly without any resistance, which this is, by hand tightening it. Then once you can't tighten anymore, you can chase it back with the socket wrench. But I still can hand tight quite a bit. Okay. Seems like forever there until it gets really tight, and there you go. Now I can go and chase it back with the socket wrench. Righty-tighty. Okay, you don't want to do too much, just a little bit of nudge from after the hand tight. There we go, that's it. Okay, you can see there my dielectric grease might got some here on my rubber boot a little bit, but not too shabby. Okay, and we're gonna put our rubber boot back in. Again, we don't have one of those ignition coils. This is built into the Banjing CDI. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this guy back in here. When I pop back in here, I want to make sure my rubber boot goes around my fan shroud. That way I get a good seal of weather. So I'm gonna bring this boot as much as I can outward and then push it in. Hear it snap. All right, there we go. All right, let's see. Now, if anything reason like the engine might turn over, it could be anything from the carburetor down to our cylinder head or cam chain might be a little too tight. I think it was. I had to force it to clamp down. So we'll see. It's a 92 link cam chain. If it needs